Welcome back again to the Monday Game Live. Half-time then in the Munster hurling semi-final between Waterford and Clare. Score at the moment is, of course, Clare 110, Waterford 9 points. Back here in the studio, Cyril Farrell. Just picking up on what Ger said before the break there. A lot of positives from Clare. They have to keep it going, though. Yeah,
they'll be very happy because they've imposed themselves on the game. They played at the breeze the first half and took the game to Waterford. That was very important because they are a young team. Got some great scores from outfield. Now they put a lot wide and they've done great things and kind of some stupid things. But they'll be happy enough at half-time. But after saying that, they're 4 up. Waterford will be wondering how they're not a lot more down because we're outplayed in most positions. Some of the forwards hardly got a puck of the ball, yet they're hanging in through freeze. But like Clare are taking the game to them. Now the breeze, it's hard enough here in the studio to do how strong the breeze is. There's probably a fair bit in it. But like of the two managers, like Gerald Loughnane will be happy and Davy, I'd say, will be roaring and shouting. They'll be trying to get them going in the dressing because they haven't really got into the game at all.
Yeah, he will, but don't look great. The danger for Clare is, as Cyril said, Waterford haven't really played in that first half, and yet they're within touching distance.
They are, Michael, and it's been alluded to, you know, Clare committed silly frees that brought Waterford back into it, but I think the pace of Clare's tackling, you know, they're focused on the ball. Waterford, if you look at them, they're a slight bit flat, maybe a bit like Cork and Tip last week, right? Waterford expect, look, we'll win it anyway, right? And that's the worst mental attitude to take into a game, and, you know, Clare put them under fierce pressure, and Waterford are struggling to get scores and play.
Yeah, but having said that, Cyril Farrell, Waterford did start nice and settled. Clare were a bit nervous, obviously, as they would be, I suppose. A lot of young lads that first 5 or 10 minutes, then they settled down. They started picking off some lovely points.
Got great scores from out the field, and again, they used their pace. Johnny Clancy, Shawnee Collins, Nicky O'Connor. These guys are explosive kind of players. Beautiful scores coming up here. It was good to see anywhere. Lovely ball here now. John Collins doesn't hit a long ball. Look at the lovely little pass inside. Beautiful flick on here, on the run. Over the, like, you know, this is Shawnee Collins. This guy will go run all day, pop over the bar. Now that's a great score, great pass, great movement. Again, you're going to see here again. Again, another great, it could have been cleared. Little flick across here. The ball breaks back here. Now Johnny Clancy, he'd run all day. Again, up on the left, has a little look and pops it over the bar. There's nothing the Waterford defence can do about it because they're out 35-40 yards. And there's another one coming up here. This guy, Nicky O'Connor, could play wing back, centre back, midfield. He's got a beautiful score here. He's on his game today, not afraid to have a go. He's confident, and like that kind of, it draws the crowd in Clare at this stage. At that stage, they were kind of going from strength to strength.
Nick got 2 points in that first half. Jonathan Clancy there, and that was actually the half forward, all the half forward line for Clare getting their scores, and then Ger, they get the boost, they get the goal.
Yeah, you see, at this stage, Waterford had cut back to, I think, 2 points, you know, and we're coming back mainly through frees and all that. But then this man, this phenomenal Darragh Conan, he strikes, you know, a scramble for the ball. He wins, he comes off his man, wins the ball, and he just buries it in the back of the net. Now, you could argue here that the goalie is a bit unsighted. You watch him, he doesn't move. Noel Connors is in front of him, he doesn't move. But Darragh Conan can do this. He did this at Dundee won last year. Whenever he gets the ball, he has such a cool head. He's very, very cool. He just reminds me of John Fitzgibbon, who used to play for Cork. He'd be out of the game for ages. And next thing, he'd appear up and he'd score this crucial goal. And he'd put the ball in, not at a huge pace, but he'd put it in the place where the goalie couldn't get it. He has been doing this. He did this all last year, not 21. And, you know, he's injured, he's not playing, and people are worried about him and all that. That's the kind of guy
he is. He's always injured.
He is. That's the type of guy he is. But he comes out in a big match, and especially against Waterford, because he has something against Waterford, he can always produce the goods against Waterford. So if they can get enough ball to him today, he could actually do damage, but he will be difficult in the second half.
A big turning point there was in a bit of an experience. Liam Lawler gone to that ball. He could have gone down with the Waterford full back. He clipped it out over the sideline. You can't be doing things, giving away little kind of a simple line ball. Ball comes in and hole and sticks in the net.
Up the other side of the field, don't look ready. You've been looking at Waterford and a bit concerned, I think, how far out the field they're coming, the forwards are.
Yeah, well, they're an experienced team, Michael, and they have Dan Shannon in full forward, who'll be a tag man. So you'll be hoping as a manager to say, look, stay inside. But this is just an example we picked out of the play here where John Mullane has to come into the ball. There's the whole space inside now, not being occupied by one. No Waterford player inside there, right? So when Mullane does get... Now, he stops here. Look, the space still hasn't been occupied, and Waterford don't get in fast enough. I know left half forward now makes an attempting point for no option left from Mullane, has to hit it. Trails wide, and anybody who's coaching a team would want your forwards, the people who were initially in the ruck with John Mullane, to burst in there, and people from the left burst in, and then at least you're giving him an option. If he wants to take a point after it, fair enough, but they didn't threaten one goal chance, right? Okay, he had absolutely nothing to do except puck out the ball in Clare.
That's very true, Donald. And even failing that you leave the full forward inside the edge of the square, like Isaki did last Sunday. Like, he'd never left the edge of the square. If Dan Shannon was there himself, he had some target to go to. But neither there was no one breaking through, and there was nobody inside, so he had no choice.
Well, at some stages there's nobody going to be inside, but at that situation, Mullane could have gone himself if he had a bit of support inside. He looked, nobody there. Ball harmlessly wide. You'd say that if you were full back, cornerback, say, brilliant stuff, puck out 90 yards and run on the attack.
One thing that Clare would need reminding of, we remember Cyril Farrell last year down in Semple Stadium, Waterford were losing all day long to Galway and won the match in the end.
Yeah, and Big Dan he's been very quiet. He hasn't got a touch. To be fair to Cian Dillon, Conor Cooney and Paddy Vahan, they're playing great stuff. But he's dangerous at the same time, because one ball will do him. Now, he's been dragged out the field, and I know the boys are making the point that they're all going out, but there is a fair, strong breeze there. And when the ball isn't coming in, you're inclined to be dragged out. The only points that Waterford got is when they hit it in long and the Clare backs are fouling. They got simple frees enough, and they're staying in the game. They still have to be aware of Big Dan. I know David probably has his hair put out this because Dan isn't doing anything, but if the ball keeps going in there, there's a fair chance he's sticking the back of the net.
All right, lads, we have another break to take. The second half of Waterford versus Clare in just a few minutes. 110 to 9 points. Clare lead Waterford at half-time in this Munster Championship match down at Semple Stadium in Thurles. Cyril Farrell was saying in that little chat before the break, Donald, that Davy Fitz will be tearing his hair out. He'll also have the notebook out and going through the way that the Waterford team is structured and maybe changing that for the second half, you think?
Well, I can't understand why the Waterford team up front has been changed. Shannon started on the 40. He's more played in the corner forward or wing forward. I mean, he's a light player. He's tall, but he's a bit light. You know, why they changed around their formation, Maloney to me, left half forward, give him a free roll, come back around the midfield. Right, they didn't function as a forward line. The half forward line completely misfired. Whereas on the other side of things, like Clare's half forward line played out very, very deep in the midfield, put Waterford under all sorts of pressure, and Darragh Conan made a great tackle a few times out on his side, out in midfield, and Clare won the ball and then they're going through. So I think that there'll be a lot of food for thought for Davy Fitzgerald. Gerald Loughlin has got his tactics right. How they'll work against the breeze now will be, you know, another thing to look at, but certainly you'd say like that it's advantage Clare at this stage in the tactical game.
One thing, Cyril Farrell, that you can never legislate for when you set up tactics and set up a team structure is a midfielder getting the ball and pucking over two fantastic points, as Nick O'Connell did for Clare in that first half.
Yeah, and Davy would know him well because he's playing with Limerick IT. He's a very good player and he's capable of doing this the whole time. He's confident enough to do it, but like the second half will be completely different. This guy, the wing back, centre back, and like, and he's travelled all day. Like, and today could be his day because he's kind of on song, not a bit afraid to go for it. And Clare put a few of these wide, but that's a great score. It's an inspirational score to the crowd that are there from there. And again, from out here again, like, you know, he's going to get on here again. They're driving through tackles at this stage now. This is a great score as well. Like, they're on a run at this stage, and yet at half time, Michael, they're only 4 up. It's you'd feel here in the studio that there should be 9 or 10 up, but they're only 4 in it, and Waterford is still in the game.
We saw by the way, we saw Declan Prendergast, I think, warming up during that first half for Waterford. He's going to be on for the second half instead of Jamie Nagle.
He probably, like, if you think the game you have mentioned last year, Waterford and Galway, when Prendergast came out at wing back in the second half, he made a huge difference, and they're playing the same way in the second half as they played that day now. But I think Donald's point is absolutely crucial there. That Davy set up this team to counteract Clare rather than to win for Waterford, which was very, very dangerous. And he thought Mona Shanahan would run with the legs off Diarmaid McMahon, and he thought Dan would go to town and Cian Dillon in full forward. It hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
So I expect not alone will there be will there be changes in personnel, but there'll also be changes in position here.
Ready to go for the second half?
Big second half now.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Let's go back again to Gerald Michael.